Hello, and welcome to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway podcast. That's right. Your host and tour guide is Scott Prevett, a healer, hypnotist, and a magician. And your bus driver is Jason Gobelli, also a hypnotist, an entrepreneur, and a spiritual guide. Disclaimer, neither Jason, Scott, or any of our guests here today are licensed professional psychologists or psychiatrists. So please don't make any changes to any medication or treatments that you are currently on based on the conversation that you hear here today. Just hop on the bus and enjoy the ride. Trip with us on the Inner Revelation bus. That's right.
Hi, I'm Jason, and welcome back to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway. We are excited today. Scott can't make it. He's having some technical difficulties, so you're just stuck with me. But better yet, we got Tatiana Pouladian on here with us. And so we're excited to have her, and it's going to be a great show. So, Tatiana, let's start right off the bat. Who are you and what do you do?
Hello, Jason, and thank you for having me on. This is super exciting. I love everything you say and you do, your message. It's really heartfelt. As you said, my name is Tatiana Pouladian, and I came to this country in 1978 and grew up in Midwest, Michigan, Minnesota, and eventually got tired of the cold and moved down to South Florida. So I am down here and I've been practicing NLP, hypnosis, and breath work for, I started about 25 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long. So I always say I started with programming computers. I was a computer programmer and then moved on to programming, or I should say reprogramming minds and brains. So it's been an exciting journey.
Beautiful. So you're programming minds. So let me ask you a question. What's your niche? What's the big thing you get into?
Um, I love to stay open, and I have worked with people with various issues. But really, Jason, what comes down to is what we hold and imagine in our minds. And it is when people feel or even say, I'm stuck, they're not literally physically stuck, right? So they are stuck in the way of their thinking, in their mind, in their head. I have worked quite a bit with people, especially in the beginning when I started this. Fear of flying, fear of heights. Um, Actually, one of my first personal experience when I was going through training was fear of insects, roaches, even snakes. So fear was a big thing. And that moves on to actually having a fear of moving forward in life, with career, with relationship. It's really getting people unstuck. So the story could be different, but what's really going on inside is really what people imagine in their mind. So I'm basically working with people's minds to help them and guide them for themselves, because they have the answer. I don't give them the answer, I don't lead them. I'm just here to guide them and help them to find what is it they're looking for and how to get about getting it, to making the changes they want to make. Because after all, it's their life and they're the ones in control of their life.
Nice, nice. So you said you started having fears of insects and snakes and things like that. So what was that all about, and how'd you get through that?
Well, that was quite fascinating. And when I first became aware of that, of having that fear, when I was a kid, I was a kid. But when I was during, college age, even looking at a picture of a snake or something or a roach in a magazine or a book, it would freak me out. And it was just funny. Everybody would laugh. It was no big deal. I mean, the fear definitely felt real. I could feel it. And it did actually stop me from, experiencing life fully. But I didn't really realize what a big impact it had on my life. And most importantly, I didn't realize that you could change that. You don't have to be stuck with it for the rest of your life. So when I was in training, actually, with an incredible teacher, my first NLP teacher, Janice Erickson, it came to phobia demonstration. And everybody in the class volunteered me because they got so tired of every time we walked outside, I'd be screaming and jumping, even if a leaf was just moving on the ground. So, to my very surprise, I just thought I was just a fear of roaches, or when I moved to Florida, lizards were everywhere. So I was screaming every 2 seconds. That's why I got volunteered to do it. She actually regressed me back. Oops, there we go. My connection kind of got messed up for a second.
Good.
She regressed me back, and it was actually really fun. I regressed back to being about 7, 8 years old. And I was not consciously aware of that at all. What happened was I regressed back, and I can clearly see it. I was so present at that time, could feel it in my body. I could hear everything. My sister and I, who's a year older than me, were on top of the stairs in our home. And my brother's friend walked in, and he had a little box in his hand. And me being a very curious kid, I'm on top of the stairs. I said, "What's in the box? What's in the box?" He opened the box, and it was a big, huge roach. I believe it's called palmetto. It came flying out of the box, and I got so freaked out. I kind of passed out, and I went tumbling down the stairs.
Mm.
And of course, at that time, my mom, everybody in the house, the adults were screaming. They came to rescue, and I didn't realize, I was consciously not aware. This is where the fear started. So it wasn't just a roach, it was anything that suddenly moved on the ground that would make me scream and freak out.
Nice.
And it's just fascinating how we hold memories in our mind and how we can be totally unaware of it, and it's affecting us all through our life. That happened one time, but every time, as you know, something moved, I would have the same reaction. And every time I did that, practice makes it perfect. This fear became bigger and bigger until I got to a point that I had this fear. And that was one of the times I thought, wow, this stuff really works.
So how was that script rewritten? I mean, how'd you get rid of the fear, the phobia?
That is a great question. Well, part of making a change, everybody can make a change. Number one, I actually read this in a book, and I can't remember which book it was that I read this because I love to give credit. I just don't remember where it was I read this. I love reading and learning. It said, number one, to make a change is to realize there's something you want to change. So being aware of what's going on in my life, being aware of what am I running and rerunning in my head, being aware of what's maybe holding me back in life. So being aware of something that I want to change. Number two is be willing to change it, which you talk about forgiveness a lot, is being willing to say, okay, this is something that happened, and I don't need to carry this with me forward into my life. I'm willing to make a change. I'm willing to forgive, whether it's myself or others or some, whatever it is, situation. And then number three, which is really important, all steps are important, is having techniques, skills, being having something, some way to make the change. And this is why I fell in love with the work that I'm doing, the NLP hypnosis, the breath work. It is giving me the tool to make the changes that I want to make in my life. And when I was able to make the changes in the beginning, is when I said, this is so incredible. Everybody deserves to know of these techniques that is willing to make the changes. So that's why I got into this work and learned these techniques to bring to others, to help them, to guide them to change. So in that particular thing, the phobia of anything that moved, even a shadow, Janice Erickson used the NLP technique, but first was the regression.
Mhm.
Then it was actually looking at it from a different point of view. And I clearly remember that session. She created a sense of playfulness and rewriting basically that episode. I don't remember the name of the technique. She had the roach turn into like a cartoon character and just totally rewriting what happened. And then coming back and installing the changes through the technique, and she's amazing. Um, and then me be willing to accept that. It only took, Jason, this is the amazing part. That afternoon, after we all left the class and took a walk again, and before coming back, everybody was looking at me to see how I react to anything that moved. And I went from screaming to just basically going. And then a few days later, I realized it was less. And one day, this is what I love. One day, I don't know, it was weeks after, I'm walking and I saw a lizard. And I stood and watched the lizard. It was fascinating how they bubble up their throat and it creates this beautiful reddish color. And I was totally fascinated. I mean, I was standing in the distance and watching it. And after about a minute of watching it, I became aware that I'm not scared. I'm actually standing there watching this lizard and I'm going, wow, this is fascinating. So today, believe it or not, when we do get a little lizard in the house, because now I don't live in a high rise, I live on the first floor. I put on a glove and I go and gently and lovingly take this little lizard. I talk to the lizard. I said, you die if you stay inside. I'm going to rescue you. And I rescue the lizard and I take him out and put him out in the garden. So I'm so grateful. I am so blessed
Nice.
that
So that sounds like it was your aha moment, the big
that's
moment.
right.
That's so. When did you decide that it was going to work for you, and when did you find out that you had the abilities to do this and help people this way?
Yeah, that is a great question. Um, that's one example. I've had a few other examples that it was really proven to me that you, everybody who's watching this, everybody in the world, has the capability, the ability to make the changes they want to make in their life. I truly believe that we all come into this world. We sign up to come because we want to experience life on earth. And I have accepted the fact that life is not always one thing. It's up and down. Like the waves on the ocean, there are ups and there are downs. And it's how I look at it, how I perceive it, that makes life enjoyable or not for me and everybody else. So again, having techniques, learning skills, and having faith that I can do it. I'm not promoting religion here, but I believe in a higher power. I feel my connection and I have faith that every breath is supporting me to experience this beautiful life. And as one of my greatest mentors, Dr. Wayne Dyer, used to say, life is between an open parenthesis and the closing parenthesis. How I choose to live this is up to me.
Nice.
So learning techniques, I'm so grateful for all the teachers that I've had in the past, the formal teachers, and I believe everybody's a teacher. Being willing to be open to learn has really helped me to learn techniques, ways of doing it. And also, we're all creative. We all have things that work for us and things that don't, and being aware of it and making it our own. My first hypnosis teacher, the late Jerry Kine, used to say, I'm teaching you all these techniques, but I want you to make it your own. Change it the way you feel it fits right. You don't have to be rigid and follow every step I'm telling you. So because of that, when I work with my clients, Um, I go where they are. I ask them what are their interests, what's their background, and then their religion beliefs, because I want to go where they are and help them get their own ability, their own power out, empower them. Because I'm not changing them, I'm just guiding them
That's right.
and having them find that power and the solution within them. So, learning, I mean, that's why I've studied so much. I've learned so many different things. I've done Reiki, I've done breath work, I've done Qigong. I mean, I can go on and on. So, I have all the tools to meet people where they are and guide them from where they are.
Well, that's wonderful. So now that we see all this, we're on your magical psyche highway, Tatiana. So
Yes.
so let's go down this road. You got all these different modalities that you work with, but it sounds like there's a big connection with that higher power. So let's talk about that. What's this higher power of yours all about?
Oh my God. That's everything. That is everything. Jason, I say, oh, I was just a programmer. I was just flowing through whatever, I feel like back then, not that it was bad, my life was great. And even though I want to say I was disconnected, I know in my conscious mind I was disconnected. Yet I know always connected, always. We are energetic beings living in this energetic world. We're not just floating all alone here. We're all connected energetically. And there is a higher power that is connecting all of us together. I mean, our body, it's amazing. Our body is absolutely amazing. Something, someone, somehow it's been created to be where it is. And a little cut or a big cut, it heals. Yes, medically we support it. We give our body the support to heal, but it is healing itself. So it is through that connection, that energy, that I call it God, and everybody can have a different image of God or belief. I'm not talking religion, I'm talking about that energy that is connecting us. So, up until the moment that I had this, I had a loved one die in an accident in 2001. And that was the time that my life completely changed. As bad as it was, that was a moment of awakening for me, that I say. The experience that I had, I can't even imagine. And it was incredible. I couldn't explain it back then, but I can see how that was part of my journey. So um, that changed my life. That's how I got into this work. It started with breath work. My amazing teachers, Patrick Wiseman, who just passed away 2 weeks ago, and Arne Ranson, my breath teachers, breath work teachers. The work that I did with them, it really brought me so much closer to what I call God.
Nice.
I could feel it, sense it, see it. I could sense the support, and I knew I wasn't alone. And I knew even the downtimes in my life has a purpose.
Nice.
Everything and everyone comes into my life. It's not accidental. It's planned. It's there to give me a message.
So
So
today, now, how is
now,
God moving in your life?
God is bringing me, and I mean it, brings me people, clients, friends, give me the opportunity to give them the gift that I have received in healing. Universe, God brings me these people so I can share my skills, my knowledge, the love that I have, the belief that every one of us deserves to enjoy this life, this journey. And somehow. These people that come, they call me, they contact me one way or another. They bring the answer that I'm looking for. I really feel it and I know it that as I helping them through their journey, I'm actually helping myself. And there is no way I could have done this on my own. There is no way. This is universe, this is God, this is that higher power that is organizing and orchestrating this. And anytime I sometimes feel down, feel like what I'm doing, this journey, this path that I'm on, is it really helping? Is it really doing anything? The right person walks into my life. Either they come in for a session, or I'm walking through a store or something, and they stop me and say, "Hey, Tatiana, do you remember me?" Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And when I think, oh, that person 5 years ago, 8 years ago, I worked with, I don't know. All of a sudden they show up when I'm feeling down and I wonder, is this really working? All of a sudden, I run into someone and I say, wow, you have no idea how my life has been changed in the last 8 years. Or I'm looking through my files for something and all of a sudden I pull out somebody's note thanking me and telling me how this has changed their life, how their life has improved and transformed. So I believe this is a higher power
Nice.
that is creating all of this, bringing all of us together. Even you and I coming together. There is a higher purpose. It's not just we're recording this or creating this podcast. There is a reason. And someone who stumbles over this and listens to us, there is a message for them.
So speaking of the messages and all this and these events that have happened in your life, from the bug, that flying bug that shaped you to the accident that shaped you, who are the people that have shaped you, your mentors and those who have shaped you to be who you are today?
Yes. And number one, I would say my grandfather. He passed away many years ago, but when I got really good at meditating and I could really be in that state of, I call it nothingness, I could feel his energy, I could hear his voice, I could feel his presence, and many times I could just see his face that he was guiding me. And I remember he had such a good heart. He was such a caring, loving man. And I know he has passed that on to my father. And a lot of what I do and how I treat myself and others, it comes deep from just learning from my father, my mother, very kind, loving person. And then the teachers I've had. I came into this country when I was just a child in a small town. I am so grateful to the people at that time were nurturing and loving with open arms, took my sister and I in from a tiny, tiny little town in Upper Michigan called Lake Linden, Michigan. And then moving through the journey, the first person that really woke me up was, as I mentioned, Patrick Wiseman in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He's the one really shook me up. And I didn't know we were doing that. We are just sitting and talking out of nowhere and really helped me to break out of just floating in life, realizing that there is something a lot deeper than just this physical. And through the breath work and the journeys I went through each session, and then studied with Arnie Ranson with Unlimited Breath, incredible, incredible teacher. And then from that, the late hypnosis teacher, Omni Hypnosis, Jerry Kai, and moved on to self-concept. I studied with Roy Hunter. We talked about him yesterday. Amazing man, past life regression and parts therapy. And the current teachers of mine, Mike Mandel, He's amazing, absolutely amazing. His group, and I've met you through Mike Mandel group. Doug O'Brien, I've studied with Doug O'Brien. He's an amazing, amazing teacher. Um, there are really some fabulous teachers that I've studied with, and every one of them, every single one of them, I've learned something from. Damon Card, I've learned so much from him. Incredible man. And again, everybody I come across is a teacher. Everybody, even the
What?
plants. Somebody sent me my brother. One of my brothers lived in England, and for my birthday, he always sends me this beautiful bouquet of flowers. And this beautiful bouquet last April arrived at my door. Beautiful. There was a big card in it. You know, they put this how to care for your flower, and this card, just really nothing special. It said water daily. Oh my God. It's like punched me in the face in a good way. Water daily. I just sat there and looked at it forever. That came from somewhere, Jason, because water daily, it had a deep message for me. It just like a light bulb lit up in my head. We are like flowers. We got to water ourselves daily with meditation, with faith, with forgiveness, with self love, self care, self acceptance. As Dr. Wayne Dyer, who's been an incredible teacher for me, said, you can only give what you have inside.
Mhm.
If
Nice.
one loves themselves and can forgive themselves for the mistakes they've made, they can give that to others.
Nice. Nice. So you talked earlier about how you helped with regression. Now let's progress a little bit into the future. 10 years from now, what do you plan to accomplish and where do you want to be?
10 years from now, I would love to look back and feel so amazing that I have taken what I do, the gifts that I have received from all these teachers and my life experience, 60 years, that I can take this gift, that I have taken this gift and shared it with people. So when I'm 70 and I look back, I want to look back and say, I used this life, this gift, in the most positive way that I could do. I mean, God gave me this gift. I would love to take all of that I have today and take it to a higher level, to reach out to more people. I've been doing this work one on one, keeping it really small, and spend so much time in studying because I love learning. But what I love to do in the next 10 years is expand this, reach out to more people, be out there more so people can reach out to me and be able to take advantage of what I've learned, my skills, my experiences, so I can share this with them. So at the end of the next 10 years, I can look back and say, thank you, universe, for giving me the opportunity to share this with so many people. I would love to know that I have played a big role in bringing this gift to others as my teachers has brought to me.
Nice. So now that we're there and we're 10 years in the future, what does your 70-year-old Tatiana want to tell you right now?
My 70-year-old Tatiana wants to say, remember the day you talked to Jason? Remember how much fun Jason was and how motivating he is. And look how just talking to Jason and noticing how incredibly he's putting his message out there so authentically, that I am so happy. He's telling me, go out there and do it. Go out there and spread your message. It's okay. Some people will resonate with it, others don't. But that's life. Just go out there and allow yourself to be seen and heard so you can be at service to others. That's what my
Well,
7-year-old's telling me.
thanks for the love there, but we're all about you, not about me. And speaking about being all about you, how are our viewers going to get a hold of you?
Very easy. They can give me a call, text me, and also email me. I'm also on Facebook. I am on Instagram. So any of those ways, they can easily contact me. Um, my email address is healingheartshypnosis@gmail.com. My phone number is 561-445-3318. And I live in South Florida. I'm on Eastern Time. And they can reach out. They can go on Facebook under Tatiana Pouladian or Healing Hearts, and Instagram the same.
Nice, nice. So what is this Healing Hearts? What's that about?
Um, I'm a very heart-centered person, and I had not realized years ago before I got into this work. My fiance who died in a water accident in 2001. He used to travel the world a lot. He worked overseas, lived in US. He used to always bring me heart-shaped anything as a gift. And he said, "You have hearts everywhere in your apartment." And I hadn't even realized it. And I'm all about hearts. So um, then I realized how much I do love hearts. And it is about healing. And because my heart was so broken, that's how I got into this work after his death, that I called my business Healing Hearts.
Nice, nice. And now your heart is healed.
My heart is healed and is full of gratitude
Nice.
and joy. It's not all the time, 100% of the time, but it's there.
Wonderful. Now, is there anything you want to add, Tatiana? Anything you want to add to this podcast?
Um, it's just something quick. Um, so many people say to me, after they say, I'm stuck or I can't move forward or I have this fear or whatever it is, they ask me, is it all in my head? Is it all in my head? And it's like, that was a good question. I would say, oh, no, no, it's not in your head and stuff. But after a while, I started really looking at it, especially using NLP. It's like, yeah, it is all in our head. It is. Because it is something that happened yesterday or 10 years ago or 50 years ago. It's past. But what is keeping us from really enjoying life is the image, the memory that is left in our head. And we keep looking at that. We keep hearing the sounds. Like when someone's in a car accident, it happened weeks ago, months ago, years ago. It's gone, but they're stuck because it is still in their head. So, yes, it is in your head. So it's okay. We have tools, we have ways to help you change what is in your head that you're hanging on to change it, transform it, and be able to move forward. And imagine, instead of imagining the undesired state from the past or something you're just imagining, to putting in your head, programming, focusing on what you want. So it is all in my head, in your head, and everybody's head. Even if we feel in our body, which is natural, not going into the science part of it, which I love. I want to help people reprogram their head and change from their undesired state into the desired state that they want. That's my message.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So that's wonderful. So now we certainly appreciate having you on the show, and we appreciate you sharing yourself with us. That's thank you. And next, one more question for you. Give us your words of wisdom for our viewers.
Very good, very good. Words of wisdom. Wow. What I love is a quote that I heard years ago again from Dr. Wayne Dyer. And at that time, I had a picture of me and I framed that picture. It's still on my shelf here. And that is no matter how hard it got moving forward, I kept going because I remembered that phrase and I looked at that picture. Is change the way you look at things. The things you look at change.
Mm.
Change the way you look at things. The things you look at change. Because it is your perception of what is. And if it is your perception, you have the power to change the way you look at it. What if it's not that that's giving you the pain and suffering? What if it's something different? What if there's something good in it? What if you could focus on what is good in this bad thing to me that I can hang on to? So change the way you look at things you look at change. It's changed my life.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Hey, it's been a pleasure traveling down your magical psyche highway. I've really enjoyed it. And I think we're good here now. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I am grateful to you. I'm grateful to this universe, to the higher power. And I would love to help your viewers, your listeners. So anybody likes to reach out, I would love to talk to them. And thank you so much for this opportunity. It truly is an honor to be here in your presence. Thank you.
Thank you. The honor's all ours. And for our viewers out there, we're glad that you're here. Remember, if you liked us, give us the thumbs up. If you think we're assholes, give us the thumbs down. We don't care. We're just glad you're here. We hope you come back next week. Share it with your friends. Follow us. And thanks again for coming. And thanks, Tatiana, for being here. And guys, we'll see you next week.
Wow, what a trip. Thanks for taking that journey with us today. Please like us, share us, and enlighten us with your views of the topics we drove into today. We appreciate you and love reading your comments. Thanks again, and we hope to see you back on the bus next week. That's right.